It's an important question to talk about, but one that I think has a lot of tribalism and a lot of mythology around it. How much pressure with my dominant hand? How much pressure with my support hand? Here are a lot of answers. I think that what's best for us is to get some objective data, science it up a little bit, and see what's best for us. There are live fire training tools and dry fire training tools. Mantis X is the only one that does both. It will change the way you shoot for the better. It has helped me immensely. So how much pressure are you supposed to put with your dominant hand on the gun, with your support hand on the gun for fast and accurate two-hand shooting? That's what we're talking about now. I'm not talking about single-hand shooting because obviously the single-hand shooting is going to be 100% of whatever grip I'm going to get with my dominant hand. None with my support hand if it's out of the fight. But our best bet if we're getting in a gunfight, if I have to use a handgun for self-defense, is to have two hands on the gun. We talk about this all the time on the main channel. I want to have two hands on the gun if I can. Drive that gun out, see my sights. How much pressure do I want to put on the gun? Well, the general answer is more, okay? So you want to grip this gun hard. How hard? Hard. How much though? So there's really where it comes down. You go, oh, okay, wait a minute. We want, 60% support hand, 40%, gun hand. Or I've heard the opposite, 60% gun hand, 40% non-dominant hand. Whatever the case may be. I think personally that those percentages are very hard to feel because how do I know if I'm at 65 or 45 or 70-30 or I don't know how those are. So let's talk about how we get these good. First thing that I want you to do, if you have not watched the video here on Active Self-Protection Extra about the science behind recoil control and how to correctly, in the way that I teach it, grip a pistol, please go watch that. It's really important to understand that you want to have that high tang grip as high as you possibly can. You want to be really focused on the pinkies in terms of how much grip pressure you put on, straight front to back and side to side. And all those things are explained in depth in that video. So please go watch that video. We do the free body diagrams and all that stuff, so that you have a scientific backing for what you're doing. But I think we can use even the Mantis X here and get a little bit of objective data as to what grip pressure does, but let's hang on there. So first of all, this really depends upon your grip strength. It really depends on how strong your hands are. I'll tell you this, a friend of mine, Carl Wren, who's a trainer in the industry, talks about how if you don't have 60 pounds of grip pressure in each hand, you'll have a hard time with the thumbs forward grip, and you might want to go to a crush grip instead. I think that's valuable. Well, how do you know how much grip pressure you have and whether or not you have equal grip pressure in your right and left hand? Well, you can use something like this. This is a little grip trainer that is adjustable in pressure that I bought on Amazon for I think I bought it for $15 or something, that you can use to strengthen your grip pressure. I've got it set out as far as it goes at 70 kilos right now because I've been working on that and really working on strengthening my grip on my support hand. You also have something like this, which is a grip strength tester. This one, I think I paid $20 for on Amazon. I'll put it in a link in the description. I'll go look it up, and I might be wrong on what these cost now, but I think it was right about $20. And it shows up to 198 pounds of grip pressure. Now that seems like a ridiculous number, but if you're a power lifter, you see some people up there way high up in the 160s and 170s. Carl, when he talked to and tested a whole bunch of grandmaster level shooters, saw consistently high grip pressure, grip strength on these. But what we found is really if you can get over 110 pounds of grip pressure, that's probably more than enough to control the grip and the recoil on a pistol for its recoil control. Although I will say this, the stronger grip you have, the less percentage of your grip, available grip, you need in order to grip the pistol effectively. So the reason I like this guy is it can show me if I turn it on and say, okay, cool, I'm good, I'm in the right spot, I've got all that, awesome. Now, I can test each one and say how even is my grip strength, because that'll help things. So it's sitting right here. I'll kind of show you where I'm at today. And this is a max number. Okay, so there went that one. Good, I saw that. 109.8 on that hand, great. Now let's see about the other hand here. Let's see if that'll change. Okay, 107.6 if you can read that. 109.6 on this one. You can use that to get kind of an average here. Let's try that again. 107.2. So here's what you see. My dominant hand. Now, it's actually not my dominant hand, but my shooting hand, I've got about 109 pounds of grip pressure in. My support hand, I got about 107. So I'm within about 2%, which is pretty good. I can maybe stand to strengthen my right hand a little bit. So if you have less than that, so you might say, okay, wait a minute, I got to grip harder to get the recoil to do what I want, or you can strengthen your hands a little bit. But what I really am interested in that, if you pick something like that up, is disparity. So if you say, hey, my dominant hand, I have 90 pounds of grip pressure and strength in, but my support hand I only have 55. Well, that's going to change kind of your ratios. So that's something to think about. The other thing to think about is what your hands are doing. So again, we have an empty gun and all that stuff. We're still pointing in a safe direction. Now, here's the interesting thing. In my shooting hand, you notice that I'm using 3 fingers here to grip the gun, and then I'm using this finger to trigger the gun. And so, wait a minute, we got 3 things to do: grip the gun, sight the gun, trigger the gun. And I have to change here because I have this part of my hand, these tendons that are gripping hard, this one that is doing work independently on its own, and it's doing that work pretty soft, all things considered. Whereas in my support hand, all 4 fingers doing all the same thing and gripping hard. So I gotta think about the fact that this one, because it's splitting, is going to be doing less work overall than this one. So in an overall sense, when I think about the absolute pounds of pressure applied, I think there's going to be less pressure with my dominant hand overall as far as pounds than with my support hand, because this hand is gripping all together, whereas this one I'm splitting a little bit and getting rid of my trigger finger. But how does that work at the end of things? Well, I'm going to grip this gun front to back hard, side to side hard. But what if I change that up a little bit? So one of the things that you can do here to kind of see is you can just play with it, guys. Play with it in dry fire and in live fire. Now, if you're running a red dot like I am, just watch the dot and you'll be able to see if your dot jumps all over the place. So if, for instance, I grip really hard with my gun hand and I grip pretty soft with my non-gun hand or my support hand, and I drive that and I really grip hard here and not there, I'm exaggerating what I might do, of course, but I might go, oh, okay, cool, and that really makes me heel the gun when I do that. Well, that might be something that I do. And if on the other hand, I take a real soft dominant hand and really grip the tar out of this with my support hand, then really that makes that change what the gun's going to do. This is something that my coach Scott Jedlinski has been working with me on and saying, John, I really want you to grip with that support hand hard as you can, really hard with that support hand, and it's paying off. So that's why I'm bringing this to you. So you can play with it a little bit and play with it in live fire too, right? So if I say I grip both really, really hard, am I getting the kind of sight picture that I want? Am I able to keep that sight adequately still to get the kind of shot that I want to shoot? Or is it better off for me to have a softer hand here versus a hard hand here? Well, let's get some data. Put my Mantis X3 on. It's actually one of the cool parts in the Mantis X is that it gives you some objective data, tells you where your muzzle is at the moment that the shot breaks, which is pretty cool. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to show you the way a few things go, kind of use my little stuff here. Let's see what happens with this when we do, and that way you do that. Now, first of all, I want to show you if I just don't support the gun, right? So if I am trying to kind of grip the gun, not at all. So if I'm doing a really bad job, I'm really soft with both hands, pressing the gun out there. Now I'm going to try to maintain things, and I'm just aiming at a point that's in an available spot for me. Okay, so I'm aiming that, trying to keep both hands as soft as I can and not grip, and press this trigger straight to the rear. This actually was a fantastic shot, which I think actually is interesting, right? So that 96.9 says that the muzzle stayed very still. And sometimes if I have to take one precision shot, I won't worry about gripping the gun super hard. I'll worry about pressing that trigger straight to the rear. As long as the gun doesn't move, it's fine. Let's kind of think this through a little bit. If I give myself a little bit of time pressure, okay, you notice that went down to 88.7. So just a tiny bit of time pressure and say move the gun a little bit more. You see, I'm in the low 90s on a regular basis on that. Okay, fine. Actually, that was a great shot at 95.7. Of course, I start messing around. But you notice that if I don't grip the gun well, I can, because I'm very good with my trigger finger and triggering the gun straight to the rear, keep around a 90. Let's start messing around with some other stuff. Now I'm going to grip this gun super hard with my dominant hand and be a little softer with my support hand. I grip the gun like crazy with my dominant hand, easier with my support hand, and see what happens. A little bit of pressure there. That was a really, really good shot. A little bit of pressure there. Really, really decent shot. A little bit of pressure there. A lot of pressure with the dominant hand. Easy on that. Okay, a little lower there. Little time pressure. Now you notice what's happening is I press that one a little bit left. I'll just about guarantee it. Yeah, that's exactly what happened on that one. Let's go look at it, because what you'll see there, yep, you see it pressed to the left there. Just what I showed you, and that's what I expected because I called that one. Okay, now let's try the other way. Soft with the gun hand, hard with the support hand. Grip it. Easy. Okay, not a bad shot. Fantastic shot. Got it to do what I wanted in that moment. Easy. Low there. Okay, so you notice about the same thing, right? So I'm actually showing about a 93 average, which is just fine if I grip really tight here and I'm soft on the dominant hand. But now if we grip really good and as hard as we can with both, let's see what happens. Now I want you to know I'm not gaming these, I'm trying to gain data and I'm trying to show you why I teach what I teach, what can maybe help you. Grip it hard with your dominant hand, grip it hard with the support hand, drive the gun out, get all the sights that you're gonna get. Not a bad shot, but I healed it a little bit. Okay, there was the best shot of the day. So you saw, because I was having a hard time getting after, because I've just done these other two, but look at what's going on with that. Okay, pretty good shot. So again, what you notice there, a little bit higher. Now, of course, anything over a 90 is fine. Anything over a 90 on the Mantis X is fine, a great shot. 95 and above is a fantastic shot, and I think, you know, you're in rare air there. Okay, but what do we see here? Well, for me, right now, the best thing that I can do is I'm gripping very hard with my pinky with my dominant hand and very hard with my support hand, putting a lot of pressure on this gun, just to the point where the front shakes just a tiny bit. I will go to my dot, shakes just a tiny bit, and then back off just a little bit until it stops. That's where is best for me. That might be best for you as well, so that much pressure. But there's only one way to find out, guys. You watch that front sight while the striker drops or while your hammer drops and see if it moves and which one moves least. And you can see that in live fire. One of the easiest ways is to go to the range, go do some live fire, see where the bullets land. Gun's not going to lie to you. It'll tell you what the best one is and experiment with it. Again, so I try a little different grip combination here and I just keep going at it. And does that gonna do me a good job? I think a tool like the Mantis X can help you with that too, because it can show you, hey, here's what's going on, give you some objective data. And once you find out what the best thing for you is, either keep training around that to a different way of doing it and get that to be better, or find out which one works best for you and keep working on it, right? So that it gets better yet. I will tell you this, Scott has me working easy on my dominant hand, very big. I'm gonna actually hit that reset and show you kind of what I'm working on. Super strong, easy on the dominant hand though, nice and easy. Good, not a bad shot. Dominant, dominant, dominant. Support hand grip. Trigger the gun straight to the rear. Fantastic, this is what I've been working on. So coach, you're watching me do this too. I'm not gaming this my first time. Good. So 3 shots over 95, excellent. See if I can do this again. All the grip pressure from support. And that's what I'm working on right now. Why? Well, it's the next lesson in a series where I'm trying to shoot fast and accurate. I'm really trying to get to where I can get a fast coin, I can get a Gabe White turbo pin, and I can get a black belt patch from Modern Samurai Project. Those are my 3 goals. So doing this, guys, you notice those ones here when I'm after that, 96.1 on an average, can't beat that. Why is it there? Because I've been practicing that every day, so that's why it's the highest. But here's my real encouragement to you this week. Learn which pressures work best for you, and that's gonna depend upon your grip strength. That's gonna depend upon your individual hand size, the gun that you're using, which one's the best. The only way to do that, watch that front sight, use a tool like the Mantis X, get to the range, and then practice it. Hope it helps you guys.